Yo guys, what is up? This is Real American Josh here, and it is currently Monday. This video will be going up tomorrow. But last night, I, yesterday I worked from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. If you don't know, I work at Jack's, which is a fast food place. But I got off of work basically a whole hour later. But anyways, I get paid for the extra hour, so that I don't really care. But honestly, after work, I came home. I grabbed a shower, and then me and my mother went and picked up my grandmother from her apartment. But we went and saw the new Jurassic World movie, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. This is my first time doing a movie review on my channel, or ever. So this is my first ever movie review. I'm really excited to do this one because, how do I say this? Jurassic World was an amazing movie from beginning to end. I'm not going to go into detail about the movie. I'm not going to ruin the movie for anybody. Jurassic World was an amazing movie. And the movie starts off perfectly. It starts off with the perfect beginning. There's nothing else I could add there, and honestly, it finds a way to make something that normally would not be funny in this type of movie. It finds a way to make it funny. This movie will send you on an emotional roller coaster. At times it brings out your humor. At times the movie makes you happy. It brings out humor in you. There's several funny moments in that movie. I'm not going to give away the line, but it was a really funny line when Owen and Claire are talking, and Owen says something to her. They're in a bar, okay? That's the most detail I'm going to go into. I'm not going to let you know what they're talking about or anything. But they're in a bar, and he says a funny line, and I've got to start using this line. It was freaking hilarious. I was laughing over there. And the movie will also make you sad. Dinosaurs, they're not real. But the movie, in this case, in this movie, I'm not sure it's done that in any of the previous movies, because when it comes to the park, you're basically they're making the dinosaurs out to be, science. They're making them out to be an attraction, but in this movie, they make them out to be actual living creatures. They make them out to be animals. There were 3 scenes in that movie where, there were 2 scenes where it nearly brought me to tears, and there was 1 scene where it did bring me to tears. The movie does a great job of making the dinosaurs out as animals rather than science. It was amazing. It was awesome. That's all I can say about it. It was awesome. And another thing, the movie, in previous movies, the T-Rex, it made them out to be bad. The T-Rexes were always, the bad guys for the most part. All the carnivores they were made out to be bad guys. This movie, they're made out to be what they are. They're animals. They're, as they put it, endangered species, and they really are. I'm not, alright, this isn't giving away too much of the movie. It takes place, I'm sure if you've seen the first Jurassic World movie, not the original Jurassic Park movies, the first Jurassic World movie before this one, then like you'll know the park, like the dinosaurs took over the park, basically. It takes place inside of that park again and it was on the island of I forgot what it was. I believe it was in Costa Rica. I can't remember, but like it takes place on that park, and like I'm not giving away any part of the movie, but the movie does a great job of they make out the animals to be regular, like they make out dinosaurs to be regular animals. They're considered endangered species in the movie, and you know and also if you've seen the first one, then you'll know about Blue the Velociraptor. In this movie, Blue, she's less of a velociraptor and more of a, I have to say, like, kind of your regular house animal, like a cat or a dog. She has those type of senses, and in the movie, they call her the second most intelligent thing on the planet. Like, yes, very smart, very, very smart. And like the, and I'm not gonna give away too much, but all right, let me go into the actual ending of the movie. The actual ending of the movie, like, if this is the end of the series, which I believe for this, in this particular instance, it should be the end of the series, because there was no better way to end the movie and end the series than on that last scene. Now, does this necessarily mean it has to be the end of the franchise? No, it doesn't, because I've thought about the concept of, all right, so think about this: they make a brand new movie, something along the lines of maybe Jurassic Planet, and let's say the world has become uninhabitable because of nuclear war, and there might be a good portion, maybe half or 3/4 of the entire population of Earth wiped out. So the remaining scientists, they discover a planet that seems to be inhabitable, and they send maybe a team of people. It could be in the future, there could be something like technology that allows astronauts and stuff like that to, people like that, to be able to travel. So maybe they send some astronauts, and maybe obviously they have to find another character like Claire and Owen, because and they have to find the perfect person to match up with them. They have to go into great detail with these auditions, because Owen and Claire I just have to say that their acting in both of the movies, I believe Owen's played by Chris Pratt. I don't know who Claire's played by, but I don't know. She kind of looks like Bella Thorne, but I don't think it's Bella Thorne. I seriously doubt it's Bella Thorne. It could be. I'm not going to assume anything, but, the movie is, I just have to say it, everyone's acting, everyone's role in the movie was, it couldn't have been acted better. But anyways, you have to find another person like Claire and like Owen to put in this movie, experts. Owen, he's an animal behavior specialist, and if you haven't seen the first movie, I recommend watch the first movie before you watch the second one, because the first one was good. Alright, it was a really good movie, but the second one is much, much better, to be honest. Legendary made these movies. Legendary has been killing it for the last few years. 2014, they resurrected the Godzilla franchise. Godzilla's origin, he originally came from Tokyo. Japan, you know, they've been making those, they made all those Godzilla movies. And America attempted to create their own Godzilla movie back in 1998, and it was a really good movie. I'll give it that. It was a good movie. Like, I liked it. But what I did not like was the Godzilla in the movie. And, like, in a way, America made that Godzilla, like, it was almost like Jurassic Park. Like, it's almost like that Godzilla was almost like the T-Rex, and then all the baby Godzillas were like velociraptors. Like, I don't know. I didn't really care much for the design. So America kind of failed on that part. But back in 2014, Legendary takes over. And I have to say, they made the greatest Godzilla movie of all time. Like, Japan never came close to making one as good as that. You know. And then Legendary, after that, you had Jurassic World. I think Jurassic World was next. The first Jurassic World movie. Legendary killed it on that one too. That was a really good movie. I liked it. After that came Kong Skull Island. The greatest King Kong movie ever made. It was amazing. Like, Kong Skull Island was a great movie. But in these four movies, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom rises far above the original Jurassic World, far above Kong Skull Island, and dare I say it, far above Godzilla. And let me tell you, the Godzilla franchise and the entire Jurassic Park franchise, or should I just call it the Jurassic franchise at this point, those are my two favorite franchises of all time. Like, I want to see The Purge. Like, I want to watch every movie from that. I've seen Purge Anarchy. I like that. I want to see that franchise. That franchise could probably become one of my favorites. The entire Friday Night Lights franchise with the movie and then the TV series. The TV series is my favorite of all time. Before last night, Friday Night Lights was my favorite movie of all time. And then, well, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I have to say it, and a lot of you may disagree with me, that is my favorite movie of all time. The best movie I've ever seen. Dare I say it? Dare I say it? The greatest movie of all time. And I know that's very bold. There's been millions of movies made. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was the greatest movie ever made. And it's going to be extremely hard to live up to that. And once again, I got off track. Alright, so in a few years, maybe you continue the Jurassic franchise. Make a movie called Jurassic Planet. Basically, the world, it's uninhabitable because of war. And also, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say how. War can be slightly tied back to this. Back to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I'm not going to have to say how. Alright, so basically, yeah. It can be tied back to it. I'm not going to say how, I'm not going to spoil anything. But it can be. But yes, I believe it was the greatest movie ever made. But basically, like, the concept behind Jurassic Planet, scientists, the remaining scientists in the world that are not working with war and all that, you know, they discover a new planet. So they send like a team of astronauts. They send some soldiers and obviously some experts with animal life, because like they want to see if there's like life on this planet and see if they can help with it. But they send them to this planet to discover, and it turns out the entire planet is overrun with dinosaurs. So like Then you have the problem with how do you escape, you know, and possibly at the end that they possibly are able to go to the planet anyway. And it's all about adaptation. And once again, that ties back to Jurassic World. I'm not going to find out. You would have to watch till the end of the movie for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. But once again, that concept ties back to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. But basically, like, also, the credits are very long, but after the credits, you do see another scene, and I feel like that could tie into that could tie into another movie. However, like, you know, like, I feel like the ending of it was the perfect way to end the Jurassic World movies, at least. Because, like, the name's Jurassic World, and at the end, it kind of shows you why it's called Jurassic World. You know, like, I'm not going to get too much into it. Hopefully, you're not able to guess what I'm getting at. You know, like, I'm not really getting into anything except the end of the movie. But, like, I just have to say it. I have to flat out say it. It was the greatest movie ever made. Alright, you may disagree with me. Now, you know, that's gonna do it. Like, this movie, like, it keeps you on the edge of your seat for the whole movie. And, like, there's very few movies that can do something like that. Like, the Godzilla 2014 movie, the Kong Skull Island, the original Jurassic World, they did that for the most part, but nowhere near how Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom kept you on the edge of your seat the whole time of the whole movie. You're on the edge of your seat because you know something's gonna happen. You just know it. Like it's amazing. And there's parts where they, you know, a lot of horror movies do this, but I don't think horror movies come close to what Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is. You know, those tense scenes where it seems like something's gonna jump out, and then something jumps out, and it turns out it's like nothing. It's just a regular person. But like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they do that. They do that. You know, but like the movie. All right, so let's go over the key facts for this movie. The movie does a great job of, basically, it does a great job of allowing you to sympathize with the dinosaurs. There are scenes where you sympathize with the dinosaurs, and if you're like me and you really love animals, there are scenes that will make you cry. Even for those dinosaurs, those aren't even real animals, but the movie, like, no movie has ever done that. Like, the only movie that has been able to do that was Old Yeller. That movie, like, at the end, you know, yeah, I cried. But, like, you actually feel for those dinosaurs. Like, you really do. And the movie, like, maybe not so much in the Jurassic World one, you didn't become emotionally attached to those dinosaurs. No, you became emotionally attached to certain characters. In this movie, not only do you become emotionally attached to the characters, you become emotionally attached to the dinosaurs as well. And above all of those dinosaurs, you become emotionally attached to Blue the Velociraptor. And obviously, like, Owen, you know, in the first one, he was able to communicate with those raptors and kind of train them. And Blue, like, she is a lot more intelligent than any of them. Like, she learns human emotions. Like, she really does. Like the movie plays back to videos of Owen training those dinosaurs. It does that twice in two different scenes. Like Owen himself watches one, and then someone else, I'm not gonna reveal that character, they watch it. All right, like like they they do. Like you see those scenes, and like you realize that like Owen is their father slash mother. He is their parent. He is the parent of those velociraptors. But unfortunately, I can't remember if it was in the first one. In this one, you find out Blue is the only one of those velociraptors that survived. She's the only remaining one. But like I said, in the movie, they call her the second most intelligent thing on the planet. And like to think animals, we don't give them enough credit. They're very smart, and like all animals, I believe, are smart. Now, like sometimes they act like some dummies. Like animals do stupid things because they don't understand. Like animals, they don't have the comprehension that we have, you know. But in the end, there are times and cases where animals are smarter than human beings because, like, we're able to tell, you know, by like looking at a person's reactions, we're able to tell that there's something wrong with them. Animals can feel your emotions. They can sense them. They know when something's wrong. And like if you own a dog, you know what I'm talking about. When you're sad or you're mad or you know, your dogs like they like to get up to you. They like to nuzzle against you. They do. Like they feel your emotions. Like they know when you're happy, they're excited. They're like right along with you, excited. Animals feel your emotions. Like why? And animals like your house cat, your dogs, even outside animals. Like not like if you own multiple dogs, those dogs form a bond. And like for example, I have a Yorkie poo named Bailey, and I have a Chihuahua named Missy, and I wish I could go get them right now if I wasn't recording. I should have brought them with me. They're inseparable. And one night we took Bailey to the vet, and she she had to stay overnight. And our Chihuahua Missy, she was actually crying. Like she was about to go crazy without her sister. And like I think we had there was a time when we had to keep our cat separated from our dog, and they really don't bond. But Bailey, like she knew something was wrong. Like she she cares about that cat. They've been together longer than the Chihuahua and her have. And like again, this movie does a great job pointing out. It points out issues like if something like this actually happened, like if dinosaurs were somehow brought back, there's always going to be people that would try to exploit that. And it does a great job pointing it out. Like the whole concept behind Jurassic Park, if you think about it, like those there were plenty of people in there that did have good intentions for those dinosaurs. But there was also greed in every one of the movies. And it does a great job pointing out that anything that has to do with science, someone will always try to exploit it. Greed and money, like if once you think of money, money takes over the mind. Greed takes over, and I'm not going to get into too much detail, but there was something dangerous, and like they originally were not going to like. It was originally not for sale, and once like money offers started rolling in, I'm not gonna say anything about what it was, but once it started rolling in, there's always that one guy that's like, hey boss, this isn't a good idea, we shouldn't do this. And the guy's like, Well, that thing's currently worth $28 million. We will just make more. And like this is something that was it was still it still had bugs, it still had flaws, like, but that goes to show you that once money takes over your mind, the greed starts rolling in. And I think that's a big problem with YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers that don't care. The only thing, like, once they start making money, that's all they care about is money. They don't care about quality of their videos and all that. Like, they don't care about the fans. They're drooling all over them. Like, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm not going to cause controversy. Speaking of controversy, there was a Donald Trump reference in the movie. That's the one thing I can complain about. I wish they had not have added a Donald Trump reference. Like when it comes to Hollywood, unless it's a movie about politics, keep politics out of it, please. Cause, like, and personally, like, it wasn't really like anything political. They weren't taking a shot at Donald Trump or supporting him. Like, it was just a reference. Like, I mean, the guy that said it, he was. It was kind of funny at the moment, but like, I don't know, like Hollywood nowadays, it does try to exploit politics. Like, for example, the first Purge, in order to gain more viewers, their advertising poster, I believe, had a "Make America Great Again" hat on it, which basically, like, they were signifying that Donald Trump was going to be president in the movie. And I've seen the movie review. The movie had nothing to do with Trump. Like, Trump wasn't the president. I've heard people say that, like, Donald Trump would make the purge, but look, no matter how bad, like, White House staff gets and all that, I don't see anyone ever being dumb enough to think the purge can happen. And this is a movie review, but now I'm getting into the stuff. But I'm basically getting in the whole lesson behind the movie is greed takes over, and when greed takes over, you tend to lose control. And no matter if you genetically engineer anything, especially anything that big like a T-Rex or a Velociraptor, something as big and dangerous as that, there's no way to control it. Whether you genetically engineered it or not, if you truly genetically engineer it, it's going to have the instincts it had all those many years ago, all those millions of years ago. It's still going to have those instincts. So, basically what I'm trying to say, no matter what, you can't take a wild animal and turn it into a house animal, turn it into something that's going to always obey you. It's not possible. There's no way. It cannot happen. And that was the whole lesson, the whole premises behind the entire series is they want to make something revolutionary. And it all started with the old guy. Forgot what his name was, but it all started with him, and he this movie, it's got a surprise. I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm gonna leave you hanging because you're probably guessing right now. But is it true or not? Like, is it? Now, there's a surprise behind it, but basically, the old guy, the old scientist dude from the original ones, he was the father behind Jurassic Park. He was the one that genetically engineered these dinosaurs, and he learned it. He failed, It was a failure. It was. And, I read an article the other day that says, by the year 2020, we can have dinosaurs again, but de-evolving chickens and turkeys and birds and stuff. Like, we could have dinosaurs again. Like, personally, like, it's possible. It's possible. Like, they've been trying to bring back the woolly mammoth for years, and they're actually close based on reports and on TV. They're actually close to bringing it back, but we don't know how. If you brought these things back with the same instincts they had that many years ago, and is it even possible to do that? How would they react to a modern day world? And there's still evidence that there are dinosaurs out there today, like the Thunderbird. It's said to be a pterodactyl. There's said to be a raptor. I believe it's in the jungles in Africa. Do I believe it? I I think there could be, because you think about it, a mass extinction. Like they said that all the creatures of the sea were safe, but how's their life today? I believe that even during that whole mass extinction, I believe that no matter what, no matter how a climate changes or a world changes, there are always things that survive, and that is due to the fact that they find a way to adapt. They adapt and survive. Survival of the fittest is what Charles Darwin came up with. And I didn't mean to turn this into a whole science video, you know, and I'm not going to go there, but like the theory of evolution, no, I don't believe we evolved from apes. Like, there's no way, because if we evolved from apes, why are there apes here today? No, but I'm not turning this into like a whole religious thing either. Like, it's pretty much impossible that we evolved from apes. All right, the only reason they think that is because apes have human characters, and they do. Apes really do. Apes are like us, but hairy, and they can't talk. Like, they can make their noises, but they can't talk. But like primates, they are they are like us in a way. They do feel the same emotions we have. They're the only ones that like they take like they take care of their kids just like a human would. Like obviously they don't go to the store and buy baby clothes and cribs and all that, but like they do take care of their children like almost like a human would. But anyway, guys, this video is getting too long, and like basically I just want to throw it out there. It's the greatest movie ever made. It was. Like, I come into this video thinking it was going to be a 5-10 minute video at the most. No, it's turned into a 33-minute video, because like I'm getting all these thoughts in my head from the movie. Like, the movie it's caused me to think like this. Like, the movie really makes you think. Like, it was just like that. And like I said, there was one scene in there, I bet you guys can guess it when you watch the movie. There was a scene that made me cry, and there was two more that nearly made me cry, and I bet you can guess those too. But like I said, the video makes you see the dinosaurs as not as attractions, not as cold-blooded killers, but they make you see them as what they are, endangered species. Like, they're not clones, they're not special attractions. No, they are what they are. They're animals, and they had these same emotions as they would have millions of years ago, and they've learned to survive and adapt. They have. And also, I didn't even get into the fact there's several action scenes. Okay, several, that's an understatement. Almost the whole movie is basically a big action scene. And I thought okay, well, no, that'd be getting too much into it. But basically, I thought the entire movie would take place in maybe one or two places. But the movie took place in, I believe, several different places, which is really interesting. Like, normally The rest of the movies have taken place inside of the park, and that's pretty much it. This movie took place in a few places. Like the movie transitioned itself perfectly. It was like say you make the perfect smoothie or the perfect milkshake, and you blend it all together. The perfect salad. Like, it was a mixture, and it was amazing. Like, like when you put the chocolate syrup in the milk and you mix it in, like, perfectly. Like, there's no chocolate on top. No, it's mixed in perfectly. It was like that. Like, I can't think of anything that the movie could have added, and also like it doesn't feel as rushed. Like, some movies get into the action, like get into like the action, the meat of the movie, way too quick. Some of them take too long to get in the. All right, so like for example, a movie getting into the action way too quick. Let's think about like Wrong Turn 3. If you haven't seen that movie, basically like at the beginning, like yeah, some stuff happens with teenagers. You know, I'm not gonna get into that, but basically like yeah, the cannibals, they're already killing at the beginning of the movie. Like, that's getting into it way too quick. That doesn't give the movie time to build up. Like, and honestly, like all the Wrong Turn movies, I really was never a huge fan of these movies. Like, I never really cared much for them. Like, but like, alright, and then a movie taken to like all the old Godzilla movies made by Tokyo. Like, those movies took so long to get into the actual action. Like, you got maybe a 5-10 minute fight scene at the end, but and maybe smaller fight scenes throughout, but it took too long to get into the action. Like, you know, like the meat of the movie is at the very end, and you don't want a movie to end off with the meat of the movie. You want, like, you kind of want you want like your first scene where you kind of introduce the movie. You kind of introduce what's going to be going on. You know, you kind of introduce all that, and you like then you want like little sprinkle, like some scenes where they're like talking and they're kind of, it kind of helps explain what's going on. Then you want the actual meat of the movie. You want a, like, I'm not gonna say overdo it on the action, but you want the action. And then at the end, you want that one heroic moment, and that one moment that kind of like makes you feel for characters. Like, the movie had that, and like obviously you got that heroic moment. I'm not gonna say who was involved in that, because it'd be a really big surprise if you found out who was involved with that. And then at the end, you want the conclusion, and you want a movie. Typically, you want a movie to end off happy, or you want a movie to end off like, you want a movie to end off kind of like on a cliffhanger, so it gets you excited for the next movie if there is going to be a next movie. And if it's the end of the series, you want the series to end off in a good way, in a satisfying way. And if this was the end of the series, it ended in a satisfying way. But if they do decide to make another one, like after those, after the ending credits, if that scene has anything to do with it, it was a really short scene, but if it has anything to do with it, you want the movie to, like, you want it to be, like, you want it to, like, forgot what I was going to say, but you get my gist. You want the movie to excite you, and trust me, I'm excited about the possibility of a new movie, but if this really is the last movie of the entire franchise, I'm satisfied with the ending. I'm satisfied with how it ended, because I personally think it ended on a good note. It did. I'm not gonna say what was going on between humans and dinosaurs at the end. I'm not gonna say it. You're just gonna have to watch the movie until the end for yourself, and then you want to watch that last scene, because that last scene, like not at the end of the movie, after the credits, that last little bit right there, it's like maybe it's short, maybe 5 to 7 seconds, but like it helps you really know like what's going on, you know. Like it takes your normal everyday animals and it kind of embodies that inside of these dinosaurs. Like you realize that hey, there's animals these days that act like that. You know, like if you take it for example, like the Triceratops, like back then that was maybe like the rhinos, the rhinoceros of that day, the long necks, like the Brontosaurus. That was probably like the giraffe of that day. The T Rex was, I don't know, like I don't know what I'd want to say. Like, was it the lion of that day, or was it the crocodile that day? I mean, like, I'd say the plesiosaurus was more like the whale or shark of that day. And you know, like obviously you get my point. Like these animals were like like you can take today's animals and you can find a dinosaur to compare them to. And I feel like that'd be an interesting video to do if I did a lot of research on it. Like it'd take a long time to make that video, but that would be an interesting video to make. And now I'm scheming. But like basically guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, but let me know your feedback down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. Like let me know what you think about the movie. If you agree with me, disagree with me on any of it, let me know. And also if you enjoyed the video, I would like you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, at real no or at on Instagram at country_bent, and on Twitter I think it's Real American Josh. It's my new Twitter page, and I might leave the link to those in the description of this video, which now that I think about it, it's a good idea. And also my brother, he helps my YouTube channel out a lot. Go subscribe to him at Dragon Waves Gaming, and follow him on Twitter at CatInTheBox123. But anyways guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Again, let me know what you thought in the comments, and make sure to subscribe and leave a like or a dislike if you disagree. Anyways guys, Real American Josh out. This may end up being my favorite video I've ever done because I had a good time making this video. Real American Josh out. Peace.